Is it possible to initiate a different manipulate from within a manipulate?
Of course. You can do a lot of surprising things in Mathematica that people might not expect. So you can use manipulate to design manipulates. Let's look at an example. Let's make a basic manipulate. Our simple one again. Okay, now let's say I want to explore variations of this manipulate interface. So I'm going to wrap this with another manipulate. And for example, suppose I want to look at different control types. So in the second outer manipulate, I'm going to let type be slider or animator. Okay, so now the outer manipulate chooses what type of control I have, and the inner manipulate chooses shows the effect of choosing that control. Suppose I want to play with control placement. So let's say I want the place to be left, right, bottom, top. And I'll put a control type, control position, placement here. Okay, and just to make this a little bit clearer, I'm going to wrap this inner manipulate with a pane to provide a little white space around it so we can see what's going on. I'm going to let the image margins, say, I don't know, be 50. There we go. Now it's easier to see which is which. And now I can look at different control placements, see what happens if I use an animator or a slider and so forth. So yes, you can put manipulates and manipulate. Along the same idea of surprising things you wouldn't expect that Mathematica can do, let me show you one more example. This is not necessarily related to manipulate, but it's something you probably may not be aware of and you wouldn't even know to ask the question. And that is, this is a way of making one-off mini interfaces from anything in Mathematica. I'm going to make one out of a mathematical formula. So suppose I'm doing the integral of 1 over 1 plus x to the something. Let's close that parenthesis, dx. Okay, and this something I'm going to do this way. I say dynamic setting of pop-up menu. And I'll have an initial value of 1 and let it range over, say, 1 to 5. Okay. This is a way of embedding controls into any Mathematica expression. So I've put the pop-up menu control in this dynamic setting thing, and I'm going to select that sub-expression, and on the Macintosh use command return. On Windows it's probably control return. So I'm going to say command return, and it's going to evaluate, oops, I got too many T's in there. Let's try that once again. So dynamic setting of pop-up menu 1, range 5. Okay, now I got it spelled right. The syntax coloring should have tipped me off that I had an error there, but I didn't pay attention to it. So now I'm going to command return that. Now I have a control embedded within my Mathematica formula. I'm going to evaluate this. I get the value for 1. What happens if I change it to 3 and reevaluate? I get the answer for 3. You can put any kind of control into any Mathematica expression, sliders, checkboxes, whatever. So it's useful for making just one-off throwaway interfaces. It's also useful in pedagogical situations. You can set up interfaces that are easy to explore concepts with.
No, great. Yeah, and definitely. If you want to play around with those examples some more, you'll have to check out that notebook a little later.